The second gun control hearing just got done in St. Paul, guys, and I have all the details on what happened and what to expect next. You're going to want to tune in for this. This is very important. Guys, I'm Ben Dorr, Executive Director for Minnesota Gun Rights, the only no-compromise gun rights organization in the entire state of Minnesota. And Senator Ron Latz and Senator Muhammad just got done with their second gun control hearing where they're trying to ram through an entire host of gun control proposals. Now, there were no votes. This is not a sanctioned hearing because Tim Walz has not yet called the special session. This is called a work group on gun control. So they brought forward a bunch of proposals, talked about them, wouldn't take any public testimony. No, you could not have shown up there and talked into the mic about what you think of these proposals. So you can see how democratic the Democrats are being right now, but they're pushing. And they discussed a ban on hunting rifles, a bunch of shotguns, pistols, all in this so-called assault weapons ban. They're pushing a bill to outlaw all magazines over 10 rounds. They're pushing a bill to mandate that every single gun you own be locked in a safe in your home at all times unless you're using it actively for something. What else is it? They're trying to make it so that cities all across Minnesota can make their own gun control laws. So if you drive through Minneapolis or St. Cloud or Rochester, you can get thrown in prison because you have a gun with you that's not allowed in those city limits. It's called preemption law. We have it in Minnesota. They're trying to gut it entirely. The list goes on from there. Binary trigger bans, the whole gambit. So first, before I jump into what happened in it, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe to this channel if you're involved in the fight for the Second Amendment, if you care about what's happening in St. Paul, and if you don't want your guns taken away, because that's what they're trying to do. All right, so the first thing was there was a bunch of Republicans and a bunch of Democrats. Why the Republicans bothered to show up, I don't know. So we had Eric Lucero, we had Kerry Heinzman, we had Andrew Matthews, and we had Rich Draheim. Draheim was my senator for a period of time before redistricting. So the only one who did a halfway decent job fighting for gun owners was Eric Lucero. Ron Latz's job as a committed far-left communist agitator Democrat, his job is to try to corner the Republicans and make it look like they don't care about crime. Well, not many of them seem to show up prepared for what was about to happen. They were asked point blank questions like, will you at some point in the future be willing to work on this gun control legislation with us? Now, if I was to ask you that question, what would your answer be? No. If somebody asked me that question, what would the answer be? No, it would be no. And instead, my gosh, Rich Draheim, Jeff Howe, I forgot Jeff Howe was also on there, Senator Jeff Howe. These are very nice people, but they were not up for the fight. And they beat around the bush, they mamby-pambied, they soft-wristed the whole thing. And Ron Latz just nailed them over and over and over, except for Eric Lucero, who fought back and put Ron Latz in his place multiple times. So if we're going to do a scorecard, let's do a scorecard. Who gets a point? Eric Lucero gets a point. Does anybody else get a point? No, nobody else gets a point because nobody fought hard and gave the obvious answers, which is screw you. That's the answer. Because politics is all about framing, right? Frame the issue. Isn't that the way they say that? So Ron Latz and the Democrats and Senator Muhammad, who hates you and me, by the way, they sit down and they go, all of this crime, the killing of Charlie Kirk, the shooting of Melissa Hortman, the Annunciation Church, all of this crime would have been diverted. None of this would have happened if we would simply pass a law requiring all your guns to be locked in a safe, or if we banned 30-round magazines, right? They're trying to frame the whole thing as a gun issue. And you know, if you're watching this, that it's not a gun issue. Bad people are doing bad things. And the left is worse than anybody. They are the violent, extreme left, and they are killing people. That's the truth. And another law would not stop them. Oh, here's the best one. They want to increase penalties for impersonating a police officer. Why? Because Vance Butler, the guy who murdered the Hortmans, was pretending to be a police officer. Can you fathom the total lack of logic that says this guy who planned, prepared, and executed this elaborate scheme to kill as many politicians as possible, complete with the car and the police license plate on the front and the firearms and the uniform and all these different things. He had this all planned out, but you know what? Oh, also, it's illegal already to impersonate a police officer. So you know what's really going to stop the next Vance Butler? Let's just make it illegaler to wear police uniforms. That's how insane these people are. So Ron Latz is sitting there framing this whole thing as a gun issue. And it's not a gun issue. So when the Republicans show up and sit down and play along with this charade, they are agreeing to the terms of the framing. They are agreeing that this could be a gun rights issue. This could be a gun issue. And maybe we should do something on that. And they got taken to the cleaners for it. So that never should have happened. That never should have happened. However, they went back and forth, took about 4 hours. Again, no official votes were taken. And there were a couple of times when people like Senator Jeff Howe, a Republican, was saying things like, I'm in favor of mandated training. Jeff, that's unconstitutional, and you shouldn't say such things. Okay? You should not do that. And then there was Senator Rich Draheim saying that he would consider working on some of these proposals with the Democrats. I'll say this right now. Any Republican who works with the Democrats to craft gun control proposals will be exposed in the elections. In fact, Draheim, I think you might already have some ads going in your district. Stop helping the Democrats craft gun control proposals. And then, of course, speaking of helping the Democrats craft gun control proposals, here we have once again a Democrat Senator, Bonnie Westland, praising the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus for supporting portions of their agenda. Why are we doing this? If the gun rights organizations, if the Republican Party won't hold the line against Tim Walz and Ron Latz and what they're pushing here, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. So let's not do foolish things. Let's hold the line. Let's be no compromise. Let's not help the Democrats craft their gun control bills. Let's fight, fight, fight. All right? So that's what Minnesota Gun Rights is doing. And that's what we're going to keep doing. So afterwards, they held a press conference. And once again, so the media is all a bunch of gun control activists, right? So the gun control activists in the media, and they are slimy freaking snakes, man. They're all sitting there on the sideline. These guys look like ghouls. I'm not even lying. And so these ghouls start asking questions of the Republicans. And the one question that they asked was, what is it about a assault weapons ban that you are opposed to, and the 30-round magazine ban, or rather all magazines over 10 rounds? And Jeff Howe gets up there, of all people. It's like, please, put Lucero in. Put Lucero in. I'm not even the biggest Lucero fan, but put Lucero in. Let him give an answer. But Jeff Howe gets up there, and he goes, well, the reason I'm opposed to it is I just like plinking. I like plinking. I like going out to the range. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy, and I'm just a plinker. And you know that I just really have a lot of fun with it. I'd encourage you to get out and shoot because I just enjoy plinking. That is not the answer that you give a hostile press on why we have AR-15s and magazines over 10 rounds? The answer is we own guns. We have guns to protect ourselves against criminals, foreign invaders, and a tyrannical government. Okay? We protect ourselves against criminals on the street, foreign invaders, and a tyrannical government. It's our check against a tyrannical government. Don't become tyrannical. We have guns, right? That's how this goes. That was the point of the Second Amendment. That was the point of the individual's right to keep and bear arms. That's why we have these firearms. Also, plinking is fun, but that has literally nothing to do with our right to keep and bear arms. And of course, Ron Latz gets up there afterwards and holds up a picture on his phone of a target that he shot. And he goes, I'm a pretty good shot myself. But I would give up, and he said it was actually pretty fun, but I would give that up. I would give up that fun to protect kids. And once again, you Republicans got yourself framed by the Democrats because you said the reason we have these rifles is because they're fun and because you like plinking. And so Ron Latz goes, hey, look, the Republicans don't want to give up their guns because they like plinking. They would prefer to plink and have fun than to protect our kids. That's what you did to yourselves, Jeff Howe. That's what you did. Don't say stupid crap like that. Tell them we have guns to protect ourselves from violent criminals, to repel foreign invaders, and to make sure that our government never gets tyrannical. That's the answer. Because all of a sudden, that sounds like a much more legitimate reason to have firearms. Okay? Because, of course, if the reason is just to have fun, then we would all just give up the fun in order to protect innocent lives, right? Right? Well, that's what Ron Latz did, man. So, in many ways, the Republicans have a lot of work to do. I don't know if any of them would vote with the Democrats, but next time, send better orators and people who have a better grasp on the topic. Send them to be the spokesman for the GOP. And don't tell me those are the best. Put Nathan Wiesenberg in there. He's like an actual pro-gun Republican who understands why we have a Second Amendment. And it's not for plinking. Not for plinking. We'll call him Plinkin' Jeff Howe. That's your nickname from now on. It's Plinkin' Jeff Howe. So, in the end, we're waiting now to see if Tim Walz calls a special session, okay? It's very possible, and although it doesn't seem like they have the votes to get it done. We are as optimistic as we were on Monday after that hearing on gun control, and I have given the order to our media team to roll out a brand new, fresh set of ads targeting lawmakers in specific legislative districts. I'm talking about Grant Housechild. I'm talking about Judy Seeberger. I'm talking about many Republicans who have been wavering on Second Amendment issues. People like Karen Housley. Not good. Not good at all. Carla Nelson. These people need to make sure that their spines are good and stiff and that they have their Constitution in mind when they sit down if these votes are coming up. So we're putting pressure on both parties. Neither one of them are happy with it. The other gun groups over there, they're not happy with any of this stuff, but we don't give a damn. We're going to keep fighting for your Second Amendment rights. Okay, guys? So, after all of that, if you're not a member of Minnesota Gun Rights already, please go to joinmgr.com. There's links with this video. If you can make a contribution, if you can help us out, hit up our new merch store. Get our new Come and Take It Walls t-shirt, mugs, things like that. Help us fund this cause. We're fighting very, very hard. We're not just educating, right? We're not just putting out information. We are hammering against these people as hard as we possibly can. So get on board with us. Help us out. We're fighting for you. We love you. Keep cheerful. Keep cheerful. Keep a stiff upper lip, as they say. Frankly, I've learned a lot from Charlie Kirk over the years, and especially over the last 5, 6, 7 days. We gotta be cheerful warriors. Keep fighting, be cheerful while we're doing it. That's what we're doing here. We're gonna keep fighting for you. Share this video with your family and friends. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We'll have more information for you very, very soon. Keep up the fight.